Hello everyone. Today I'm going to be making my own homemade yogurt. I usually do make my own yogurt. It's very easy to do, and I'm going to show you how to do it in just a few simple steps. Most of the time I just use my own culture from an old bottle of yogurt, that I've just almost finished up. However, with the holiday and all of that, I neglected to make my own yogurt and I did run out. So I'm going to show you how to do it using a store-bought yogurt as a culture. One thing I would caution is to make sure you get a nice quality organic yogurt, whole, don't get the fat-free or anything like that. And that's what you're going to use as your culture, which you'll see how to do that in a few minutes. But I usually make a half gallon. A quart does not last very long around here, so I'm going to use the half gallon mason jar, and I've already poured my milk from, it's also from the store. This is a organic milk. You can just buy it anywhere pretty much now, thank goodness. But I'm going to use that, and it saves a lot of money and it's healthier. And I'm going to take you step by step, so let's just get to it. Here's the half gallon of milk. It's actually almost a half gallon. I'm leaving room at the top of the jar for my culture to go in. So this is pretty much going to be, almost to the top of the half gallon jar. If you want to do a quart, you can do a quart, but just kind of do the same thing. Just fill it almost all the way up with your milk. And you're going to pour that into, I'm trying not to splash it everywhere, into your pot. And I'll rinse my jar out in just a minute, and I'll show you how to do the culture at the bottom while you're waiting for your milk to heat up. So you put your milk in a pot, and you're going to turn it up, and you're not going to want to get it to boiling. If you get it to boiling, which is 212, you're going to kill off anything that you want to kill off that could be beneficial. You're going to get it to about 170 or 180 degrees. And how I know that is, you can use a thermometer here. Once you make it a few times, you're going to be able just to kind of tell about how fast the steam's rolling off, and you can pretty much just almost tell by the way it smells. You get that hot milk smell, but it's not boiling yet. So we have our stove turned on, and we're going to wait for our milk to boil. Not boil, but almost boil. And once it starts to get, kind of steamy, you're going to kind of want to stir it and take your wooden spoon. Don't use metal or plastic. Try to get a wooden spoon, and you're going to take it and just kind of go along the bottom and stir it every now and then once it starts to get heated up real good. So I'll come back and I'll show you pretty much what it starts looking like when it gets to the point where we're going to want to take it off the stove. I'll show you what it looks like down in the pot and how the steam's coming off of it, and I'll also measure it with the thermometer as well. So I'll be right back. Okay, so while we're waiting for the milk to heat up a little bit, I'm going to show you how to do your culture. I went ahead and washed my jar out that I had measured my milk in, and like I said, I'm just going to take a store-bought organic yogurt. Normally what you would do if you're just going to keep making your own yogurt is to save a little bit, so when you get down in your jar, maybe just almost all the way down to the bottom, save it, go ahead and start another batch, and then you're going to use what's left over in your jar for your next culture. But like I said, I went ahead and used all of mine. I did run out, so I'm just going to use the store-bought for the culture. I know that at some health food stores you can buy ready-made cultures. I think they keep them in the refrigerator, and you can try that as well. But I'm going to use this, and for a half gallon, there's about 1 tablespoon. I'll probably do about 4 tablespoons, maybe a little bit more, of the existing yogurt to do the culture. And once you get used to doing this, and obviously you're not filming a video about it, this actually does, it goes by pretty quick. It's very easy to do. So, I don't know, 5-ish tablespoons, just enough to kind of cover the bottom of the jar. And since I have a little bit left in here, I'm going to go ahead and put that in there too. It's like half a tablespoon. There we go. So, yep, that empties out that old yogurt that I had to use in my baking this weekend. And so you have your culture ready, and I'll be back when the milk is heated up to show you what it looks like. Okay, so we're starting to steam pretty good here. I'm giving it a few stirs, and I'm going to take the temperature, and I can sort of smell that hot milk smell. It's not anywhere close to boiling, I don't believe. I'm going to go ahead and just turn it down maybe a notch or two on the stove and take its temperature. I'm just going to use my little thermometer here. And don't touch the bottom of the pot with the thermometer, just try to hover it above the bottom of the pot to get an accurate reading. We're getting really close though. Let's see, we're at 160. No, 165. We're almost there. I'm going to give it another stir or two and take the temperature again. You just want to make sure it doesn't stick to the bottom. I've never had that happen, but I've heard of people where it will stick to the bottom, but I don't think it's harmful if it sticks. I just wouldn't agitate it too much and just try to keep it from sticking any more than you possibly can. Yeah, this is just about there. And you can just kind of see the steam whipping up, but believe me, I'll show you in a second, it's nowhere close to boiling. Not as in like, it's not bubbling. There are bubbles on the top, I'll show you in just a minute, but it's not like actively bubbling, if that makes sense. Yep, we're right at 170 now. So by the time I show it to you, it'll be ready to take off. So let me go ahead and show you what it looks like. Move you over here. Let's see if I can get it. Sorry, the camera's kind of, I don't know if you can see it or not, but it's not boiling. There are bubbles on the top, but it's not like actively rolling or boiling like that. It's right at about 170, 175 right now. I hope you could see that. I don't have a way of turning the camera around. You know, I'm an amateur, so. All right, let's take its temperature again. It should be right about where we need it. Let's see. Yep. It's right at about 175. So now if you're using raw milk, you're not going to want to get it this hot. Only with pasteurized milk are you going to get it to 170, 180. If you have raw milk, it's kind of like 115-ish. You're going to want to get it to about that, where it's just barely warm. Yep, it's ready to take off now. So I will be right back, and I'll show you what to do next. Okay, so we took it off the stove, and now it's just sitting here on the counter in the pot. And you're going to let it cool, and you're going to use your thermometer again. And you're going to let it cool all the way down to about 115, 120. And it'll take, you know, a good 20 minutes or so, depending on what kind of pot you use. I always use cast iron. This is a coated cast iron. Normally I just use, you know, regular cast iron pot. But you're going to let it cool down to about 115, 120, and then I'll show you what to do after that. Okay, so I've got it cooled down here. It's at about 115. And I'm going to show you what to do next. The pot's still pretty warm, so I'm going to go ahead and put my mitts on. You know how cast iron can stay pretty hot. And I've put a funnel at the top of my jar because I'm actually very messy in the kitchen. So this just helps me spill less. I'm still going to spill, it's inevitable. But I've put a paper towel down here, and I'm going to go ahead and pour it in here. I just hope I don't make too big of a mess. There we go, in there. A little bit more in there. The cabinet's kind of blocking me here, but okay. As soon as you get it in there, go ahead and start stirring. Stir all that culture up into your soon-to-be yogurt. Kind of amazed that the paper towel actually caught all of the mess. Just get it real good and stirred up there. Okay. And then I will clean it up a little bit. If you do spill any, just kind of wipe off around the rim and all of that. Just try to make sure there's nothing on the outside of the jar. And some people sweeten theirs. I don't. You can if you want. I've heard of people going ahead and putting sugar in there before or after. Some people put fruit, but I just like to leave mine plain. And then if I'm going to make a smoothie with it or something like that, then that's when I'll add the fruit or coconut sugar or whatever you want to put in there. So like when you have it nice and cooled down, it's not going to be uncomfortable to touch it. It's going to be like, bath water or shower water like that. And I use an old dish towel. And what you're going to do next is put it in the middle of the towel here and put your lid on there. And just kind of bunch the towel up around it. It's easier to do with a quart jar because they're smaller, but I do somehow manage to get this little towel. And I just kind of wrap it around and tuck it in a little bit. Let's see here. Try to tuck the corners in. And just around like that. And then I use a rubber band to keep the top like that. And then it's all kind of wrapped up. Looks like a little doll or something. And let me move the camera over here. And what you'll want to do is have your oven light on. And you heard the jar ding there. Have your oven light on. And you are going to, if I can get this to stay, put the rack on the bottom so the jar will fit. And you're going to just put it in your oven with the light on. And you're going to leave it, you can leave it for 12 hours, but I like to leave it for about 24. So I hope you find this as easy as I do. It's really not hard once you get used to it. It's an easy thing to do. It saves a lot of money. You can cut your costs to like a quarter, maybe half if you have more expensive milk, but I think it's $8 per half gallon on yogurt. That's a lot of money if you add it up, and we have a lot of yogurt around here. So hope you found this useful. And if you make your own yogurt, leave a comment. If you do anything different, just remember, if you're using the raw milk, don't heat it up as much. And thanks for watching, and you guys have a wonderful and blessed day.